Hola, mis amores. It's your Tía Lupita here. Pour yourself some coffee. Get comfortable, because today I need to tell you about mi comadre Rosa Martinez. And let me warn you, this story is going to make your blood boil. You know how I always say, family first, but family doesn't mean doormat? Well, Rosa learned that lesson the hardest way possible. Her own daughter, her baby girl, the child she sacrificed everything for, stole her entire business right from under her nose. Yes, mijas y mijos, stole it, legally, with Rosa's own signature. But here's the thing about mi comadre Rosa. She didn't stay down. And what happened next? Ay, Dios mío. It's the kind of justice that makes you want to stand up and applaud. Let me tell you how it all went down. So Rosa calls me one Thursday afternoon, and I can tell immediately something's wrong. Her voice is shaking. Lupita, she says, I need to talk to someone. Can I come over? 20 minutes later, she's sitting at my kitchen table, and she tells me everything. And mijas, I had to sit down myself, because what I heard made me so angry, I thought I'd have a stroke right there. Let me start from the beginning, the way Rosa told it to me. It all started 32 years ago. Rosa's husband Miguel, God rest his soul, dropped dead on a construction site. Heart attack at 47 years old. Just like that. Rosa became a widow with a 12-year-old daughter and $843 in the bank. $843, mijas. That's all that stood between them and the street. Now, Rosa could have given up. She could have moved in with family, gotten some factory job, just survived. But that's not Rosa. She borrowed $6,000 from her sister Elena. And you know how hard it is to borrow money from family, especially when you have no idea how you'll pay it back. But Elena believed in her. Rosa bought a beat-up old food truck. I'm talking ancient, mijas. The kind of truck that looked like it should be in a junkyard, not serving food. The engine sounded like it was coughing up its lungs. But Rosa didn't care about pretty. She cared about feeding her daughter. She named it El Sabor de Casa, the taste of home. And she started cooking. And listen to me when I tell you, Rosa worked like a woman possessed. Up at 4 a.m. every single morning, prepping carnitas, making salsas, shaping tortillas by hand. Then she'd drive to the construction sites for lunch rush, serve the workers, clean up, drive to the factory district for dinner shift, serve until 9 p.m., then go home and clean the truck until midnight. 18-hour days, mijas, 7 days a week. Her hands were covered in burns from the hot oil. Her back ached so bad she could barely stand up straight. But every week, she'd put money aside for her daughter Valeria's quinceañera, for her college fund, for her future. Because that's what mothers do. We sacrifice. We work until our bodies break. And we tell ourselves it's worth it because we're building something for our children. Rosa believed she was building Valeria's future. She had no idea she was building the weapon Valeria would use to destroy her. As Valeria got older, she'd help at the truck on weekends, taking orders, handling money, chatting with the customers. And mijas, that girl was charming. Beautiful smile, friendly personality. People loved her. Mommy, Valeria would say, when I graduate, I'm going to help you expand. We'll have 3 trucks, maybe a restaurant. Rosa would hug her and cry happy tears. My baby, she'd think. My baby is going to help me build something beautiful. Ay, mijas, sometimes the people we trust most are the ones who hurt us deepest. Rosa worked doubles to put Valeria through business school. Every single tuition payment came from Rosa's sweat, Rosa's burned hands, Rosa's aching back. And Valeria graduated top of her class. At graduation, Valeria hugged Rosa tight and whispered, "Get ready, mommy. I'm going to take us to the next level." Rosa was so proud, she thought her heart would burst. And you know what? At first, Valeria did take the business to the next level. She created Instagram accounts that got thousands of followers. She redesigned the trucks with bright, modern colors. She got them into food festivals, catering contracts, the state fair. Revenue tripled, mijas. See, mommy? Valeria would say, this is what happens when you combine your cooking with my business skills. We're unstoppable together. 2 years ago, Valeria came to Rosa with a big idea. Mommy, we need a restaurant. Food trucks are great, but real wealth? That's in brick and mortar. We need our own place. Rosa was nervous. The trucks were safe, predictable, paid the bills. A restaurant meant risk. I don't know, mija, Rosa said. What if it fails? We could lose everything. And this is where Valeria was smart, mijas, really smart and really manipulative. She took Rosa's hands and looked into her eyes. Mommy, you're 63 years old. You deserve to be an owner, not just a cook working in a truck. You deserve respect. Let me handle the business side. That's what my degree is for. You just do what you do best. Make the food that makes people happy. She made it sound like love, mijas. It wasn't love. It was strategy. Opening Rosa's kitchen took every penny they had, plus a bank loan. And here's where the trap started closing. Valeria handled all the paperwork, all the legal documents, all the contracts. It's too complicated for you, Mommy, she'd say. Too much legal terminology. Let me deal with the lawyers and accountants. You just focus on the kitchen. And Rosa, trusting, loving Rosa, she signed what Valeria put in front of her. Because when your daughter has a business degree, when she's been successfully managing your operations for 5 years, when she looks you in the eye and says, "Trust me," you trust her. That's what mothers do. We trust our children. Sometimes, mijas, that trust costs us everything. The restaurant opened 18 months ago, and it was beautiful. 40 seats, open kitchen so customers could watch Rosa cook, and lines out the door from day one. Valeria managed everything. The books, the staff, the vendors, the marketing. Rosa did what she loved. She cooked. Every morning, 5 a.m., Rosa would arrive to prep. Every night, 11 p.m., she'd leave exhausted but happy. We're making so much money, Mommy, Valeria would say, showing spreadsheets Rosa didn't fully understand. And Rosa believed her. Why wouldn't she? This was her daughter, her baby, the girl she'd raised, educated, sacrificed for. Mijas, let me tell you something important. Sometimes the people who smile at us the most are sharpening knives behind their backs. 3 months ago, everything changed. It was a Tuesday night. Rosa remembers because Tuesdays were always slow. Valeria asked Rosa to stay after closing. We need to talk about something important, Mommy. She spread papers across a table. Official documents, lots of small print. What's this? Rosa asked. Tax stuff, liability protection. The accountant says we need to restructure the business. Right now, everything's in your name, which means if someone sues us, they can take everything. Your house, your savings, everything. Rosa felt her stomach drop. Sue us for what? It's just precaution, Mommy. Smart business owners protect their assets. We need to create an LLC. It's like a legal shield. Then your personal stuff is safe. It sounded reasonable, mijas. That's the thing about good lies. They sound reasonable. So what do I need to do? Rosa asked. Just sign here, and here, and here. Valeria pointed to signature lines. This transfers the business into the LLC. Then you're protected. But who owns the LLC? We both do, Mommy. 50-50. But I'll be the managing member since I handle the business operations anyway. This just makes official what we already do. Rosa hesitated. Something felt off. Maybe I should have a lawyer look at this. And this is when Valeria's mask slipped. Just for a second. Mommy, her voice got cold. Do you trust me or not? I have a business degree. I've been managing this successfully for 2 years. Do you think I would do something to hurt you? The guilt hit Rosa like a punch. This is my daughter, my baby. How could I doubt her? Rosa signed. She signed away everything, mijas. 2 weeks later, Rosa's key didn't work at the restaurant. She called Valeria confused. Mija, something's wrong with my key. Oh, I had the locks changed. Security upgrade. Meet me at the coffee shop across the street. And this is where my blood runs cold every time Rosa tells this part, mijas. Valeria was already at the coffee shop, laptop open, looking professional, looking like a stranger. Sit down, Mommy. Rosa sat. I've been thinking about efficiency and growth. You're 63 years old, working 16-hour days. That's not sustainable. You're slowing us down. Rosa felt like the world was tilting. Slowing us down, Valeria, you built a food truck, Mommy. I built a business. There's a difference. Valeria looked at Rosa with eyes as cold as ice. Those papers you signed? You transferred full ownership to the LLC, and I'm the sole managing member, which means I own the restaurant. I own both food trucks. I own the equipment, the recipes, the trademark, the social media, everything. It's all mine now. Rosa couldn't breathe. You can't. Valeria, those are my grandmother's recipes. And I spent 5 years modernizing your little taco stand. I'm the one who made this profitable. You just cook, Mommy. Anyone can cook. Valeria closed her laptop. I'm bringing in a new chef, someone with formal training. You can stay on as a prep cook if you want, $15 an hour. But I'm running this business now. She stood up to leave. Mija, please. It's just business, Mommy, nothing personal. And she walked away. When Rosa told me this part, I had to stop her because I was crying so hard I couldn't see. Her own daughter, the child she'd given everything to, the baby she'd worked 18-hour days for, the girl whose college she'd paid for with her burned hands and aching back. That daughter had just stolen her life's work, and she did it with Rosa's own signature. But here's what Valeria didn't know, mijas. She didn't know who Rosa really was. She didn't know what Rosa was capable of. And she definitely didn't know that she just made the biggest mistake of her life. Because Rosa Martinez didn't build a business for 32 years by being weak. She built it by being smart, patient, strategic. And now she was going to teach her daughter a lesson in respect. Get yourself more coffee, mijas. Because what happens next? It's going to make you want to stand up and cheer. So Rosa comes to my house that day, and mijas, I've never seen her like this. She's always been strong. You have to be to survive what she survived. But that day, she looked broken. She sat on my couch and just cried. Not loud crying, but that quiet crying that's somehow worse, like her heart was bleeding out. When she could finally talk, she told me everything. I was furious. Furiosa, mijas. I wanted to drive over to that restaurant and drag Valeria out by her hair. We need to get you a lawyer, I told Rosa. Right now, today, we're going to sue that girl until she has nothing left. But Rosa, she just shook her head. With what money, Lupita? Everything is tied up in the business. And she owns the business now. I made Rosa stay with me that night. She couldn't go home. Too many memories of raising Valeria there. Too much pain. She slept in my guest room, and I could hear her crying through the walls. It broke my heart, mijas. But the next morning when Rosa came out for breakfast, something had changed in her eyes. She wasn't broken anymore. She was angry. And let me tell you something about Rosa Martinez. She's dangerous when she's angry. Not loud dangerous, quiet dangerous, strategic dangerous. Lupita, she said, drinking her coffee, I'm not going to fight her in court. But Rosa, I'm going to fight her in business. The way she thinks she's so smart, I'm going to show her what real intelligence looks like. Ay, mijas, I got chills when she said that. The first thing Rosa did, she called Tomas. Now you need to understand who Tomas is. He'd been with Rosa since the beginning, 15 years managing her original food truck. Loyal, hardworking, the kind of man who'd never betray you. Don Tomas, Rosa said on the phone, I heard what happened, what Valeria did. Rosa, I'm quitting today, Tomas said. I don't work for people like that. No, I need you to stay. Silence on the phone. Stay? Why? Because I need eyes and ears inside. I need to know every decision she makes, every person she hires or fires, every price she changes. Can you do that for me? And Tomas, bless him, he understood immediately. Consider it done, Rosa. I'll text you daily. That's loyalty, mijas. Real loyalty. Next, Rosa called her old friend Gabriela, who owned a restaurant supply company. Gabi, it's Rosa. I need a favor. Anything, mi amor. I heard what Valeria did. We all heard. And I'll tell you something. A lot of us in the business community aren't happy about it. That girl is making enemies she doesn't even know about. When Valeria calls to renegotiate vendor contracts, can you let me know? Of course. And Rosa, she's already burning bridges. She called me yesterday trying to get a 15% discount because the business isn't as profitable as it used to be. I told her no. She got angry. Very unprofessional. Rosa smiled for the first time in days. One more thing, Gabi. Do you know a good business attorney? David Reyes. He's expensive, but he's worth every penny. And Rosa, he hates people who screw over their parents. His own mother went through something similar. Gabriela gave her the number. And mijas, this is when Rosa's plans started coming together. David Reyes met Rosa the next day. Sharp suit, sharp eyes, and within 5 minutes of reviewing the documents Rosa brought, he was shaking his head. Mrs. Martinez, I'll be honest. This is bad. The papers you signed are legally binding. Your daughter was very careful. Technically, there's no fraud here. Rosa's heart sank. So, I have no auctions? David smiled. I didn't say that. Tell me, recipes that made the business successful. Where did they come from? My grandmother, passed down through my mother to me. I have my grandmother's handwritten cookbook from 1952. His smile got bigger. And the money to start the original food truck? I borrowed $6,000 from my sister. I have all the paperwork. The money to open the restaurant? 32 years of savings, plus a bank loan that both of us signed. So you're both liable for the debt? Yes. David leaned forward, mijas. And when Rosa told me what he said next, I knew Valeria was finished. Here's what your daughter doesn't understand about business, Mrs. Martinez. Ownership isn't just about papers. It's about intellectual property, provenance, foundation. I don't understand, Rosa said. Those recipes, your grandmother's recipes from 1952, they're yours, your family's heritage. You never transferred the intellectual property rights because they were never officially part of the business assets. The recipes exist independently. Rosa started to understand. So we're going to trademark them in your name, every single recipe from that 1952 cookbook. And then we're going to inform your daughter that if she continues using them, she's committing intellectual property theft. Can she just change the recipes? She can try, but customers will notice. They know your food, Mrs. Martinez. They know how it's supposed to taste. And when it doesn't taste right anymore, they'll leave, mijas. This is when I knew my comadre was going to win. It won't be cheap, David warned. My retainer is $5,000. Rosa didn't have $5,000. Everything was gone. David saw her face and made a decision. Or we work on contingency. If we win, I take 30% of whatever we recover. If we lose, you pay nothing. Why would you do that for me? And mijas, what David said next made me love him. Because my mother built a house cleaning business from nothing, worked until her hands bled. My older brother pulled the same thing your daughter did, convinced her to sign over the company, pushed her out. She died broke and broken-hearted 2 years later. I was in law school, couldn't help her. His eyes went hard. I don't let this happen anymore, not when I can stop it. Rosa shook his hand. Let's show my daughter what real business looks like, she said. And David grinned. Now you're thinking like an entrepreneur. Tomas's daily reports started coming in, and mijas reading these messages was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Day 3. Valeria fired Lupita from the evening shift, said she was too slow. Lupita cried. She's worked here since opening. Day 5. New chef started. His name is Brandon, culinary school graduate. He changed the carnitas recipe. Customers are complaining. Valeria told him to ignore them. Day 8. She switched to a cheaper meat supplier. I can taste the difference. So can the customers. Day 12. She raised all the prices. Lunch combo went from $12 to $16. We lost half our regular customers today. Day 15. Brandon quit. Said Valeria is impossible to work with. She's cooking now. Rosa, the food is bad. Really bad. People are leaving negative reviews. Rosa read every message. She didn't respond. She just watched her daughter destroy in 2 weeks what took 32 years to build. Meanwhile, David was working his magic. He filed trademark applications for 19 of Rosa's grandmother's recipes, all documented in that 1952 handwritten cookbook, filed them as Rosa Martinez family heritage recipes. Then he sent cease and desist letters to the restaurant. You are hereby notified that you are using proprietary recipes without authorization. Cease use immediately or face legal action. Valeria called Rosa screaming. Literally screaming, mijas. You can't trademark recipes. That's not how it works. And Rosa, calm as can be, said, actually, mija, you can trademark specific recipe names and unique combinations when they're documented as family heritage. My lawyer explained it very clearly. Maybe they didn't teach you that in business school. You're trying to destroy the business. No, mija, I'm protecting what's mine. You took the business, but you can't have my grandmother's legacy. Valeria hung up. She never called again. But here's where Rosa did something brilliant, mijas. Something Valeria never saw coming. She started cooking again. Not in a restaurant, not in a food truck, in my backyard. Every Sunday, Rosa would come over and cook. She'd invite people, old customers, friends, neighbors, people from church. The real recipes, her grandmother's recipes, made with love, the way they were supposed to be made. She didn't charge anyone. She just cooked and shared. Rosa, this is incredible, her neighbor Patricia said one Sunday. This tastes like Rosa's kitchen used to taste. Before my daughter ruined it, Rosa said calmly. You can say it. It's the truth. If you ever open another place, I'll be your first customer. Word spread fast, mijas. Faster than Valeria could control. 20 people came to the next Sunday dinner. Then 30, then 50. Someone posted about it on social media. Found the real Rosa Martinez cooking her real recipes. This is what Rosa's kitchen used to taste like. If you want authentic Mexican food made with love, find Rosa. The restaurant is dead. Long live Rosa. The post went viral. Rosa's phone started ringing off the hook. People wanting to know where she was cooking, when they could come, how they could order catering. And Rosa? She took notes. She was planning something. 6 weeks after Valeria stole the business, Tomas sent a message that made Rosa actually laugh out loud. Rosa, we had 18 customers for lunch today. 18, on a Friday. The restaurant is empty. Valeria is panicking. She's yelling at everyone. 2 more employees quit this week. Rosa showed me the message. It's time, I said. Time for what? Time to take back what's yours. Rosa smiled. Call David. Tell him I'm ready. David had been preparing for this moment, mijas. The bank is getting nervous, he told Rosa. The loan is in both your names, which means you're both liable. The restaurant is failing. When it defaults, and it will default soon, they'll come after both of you. So what do? We make them an offer. You'll assume full responsibility for the debt in exchange for them transferring all assets back to you. We'll show them your 32-year track record. We'll show them the business only started failing after Valeria took over. Banks don't want bad loans, Rosa. They want solutions. Will they go for it? They already are. I've been negotiating with them for 3 weeks. They're terrified. They've seen the numbers. He pulled out a document. Sign this. It's an offer to the bank. If they accept, everything comes back to you. The restaurant, both trucks, all equipment. And Valeria? Gets nothing. She destroyed the business. She's liable for half the debt, but gets no assets. The LLC she created becomes worthless. Rosa picked up the pen. Is this revenge, David? No, Mrs. Martinez. This is justice. Rosa signed, and mijas, when she told me this part, I actually cheered out loud in my kitchen. Justice was coming. The bank accepted the offer within 48 hours. 48 hours, mijas. David called Rosa with the news. Congratulations, Mrs. Martinez. As of this morning, you own Rosa's kitchen again. Rosa couldn't speak. She just cried. Rosa, you still there? When can I take possession? Immediately. The bank is changing the locks today. Valeria will be notified by email in 1 hour. Rosa looked at me. I'm going to the restaurant. Will you come with me? Mijas, wild horses couldn't have kept me away. We arrived to find a young banker waiting outside with keys. Mrs. Martinez, I'm Kevin from First National. Here are your keys. He handed them over. Your daughter has been notified she's no longer authorized on the property. If she shows up, call the police. The restraining order your attorney filed is in effect. Restraining order? Rosa asked. For intellectual property theft. She continued using your trademarked recipes after being ordered to stop. Mr. Reyes was very thorough. Rosa took those keys and Mia's. I saw her shoulders straighten. She stood taller. She was taking back her life. We walked into the restaurant together. And Mia's, it was heartbreaking. Dirty dishes everywhere, trash overflowing. The beautiful mural Rosa had commissioned of her grandmother cooking in Guadalajara had been painted over with some generic modern design. Rosa stood there looking at what her daughter had done to her dream. But then she saw it, tucked in a corner, her grandmother's molcajete, the volcanic stone mortar and pestle from 1952. Valeria had thrown it aside like garbage. Rosa picked it up, washed it carefully, and set it on the counter where customers could see it. "We're back, abuela," she whispered. And mijas, I had to turn away because I was crying. Rosa's phone rang. Valeria. Rosa looked at the screen, looked at me, and answered on speakerphone. "What did you do?" Valeria was screaming. "The bank says I'm trespassed, that you own the restaurant. How is that possible?" Rosa's voice was calm. So calm, it was scary. "It's possible because you destroyed the business in 2 months, mija. The bank wanted someone competent. I own that business. I have the paperwork. You own an LLC with no assets and half the debt. Congratulations on your business degree, mija. You played yourself. I had to cover my mouth to keep from laughing, mijas. I'm calling my lawyer. Good luck finding one who'll work for free when you have no money and no case. Adios, Valeria." Rosa hung up. The phone rang 6 more times. Rosa blocked the number. "How do you feel?" I asked her. Rosa looked around her restaurant, dirty, damaged, but hers again. "I feel like myself," she said. For the next 3 days, Rosa cleaned and repaired the restaurant. I helped. So did Tomas. So did all the employees Valeria had fired. They came back without being asked. "I can't pay you yet," Rosa told them. "I need time to rebuild. But if you're willing to trust me..." "Rosa," Tomas interrupted, "we watched you build this once. We'll help you build it twice." Lupita hugged Rosa. "You're the mother Valeria should have been grateful for. We worked from dawn until midnight, scrubbed every surface, repainted the mural. This time, Rosa did it herself, recreating her grandmother's face, her hands shaping tortillas, that smile that made everyone feel loved. On the 4th day, Rosa stood in the kitchen and cooked. The real recipes, the ones from 1952, made with love and respect and gratitude for the women who came before. The smell filled the restaurant. Rosa was home. We reopened on a Tuesday. Quiet, no social media announcements. Rosa just unlocked the doors and started cooking. By 11 a.m., there was a line outside. "Rosa, you're back! Is it the real food again? We missed you so much." Mijas, I worked the register that day, and I cried happy tears watching Rosa in her kitchen. She cooked until she couldn't feel her feet. We ran out of carnitas by 1 p.m., ran out of chicken by 3 p.m., ran out of everything by 5 p.m. We had to close early because there was literally no food left. "Come back tomorrow," Rosa told the disappointed people still in line. "I promise I'll make enough." They cheered. That day, Rosa made more money than she'd made in a week under Valeria's management. Because people were hungry for authenticity, for food made with love instead of ego. That night, Rosa got a text from an unknown number. "You can't do this to me. I'm your daughter. I deserve this business. I built it. You're nothing without me." Valeria, from a different phone. Rosa showed me the message. "What are you going to say?" Rosa thought for a long moment, then typed, "Mija, I didn't do this to you. You did this to yourself. And you're right about one thing. You built something. You built a lesson about what happens when you confuse cleverness with wisdom. I hope someday you learn from it. But until then, don't contact me again." She blocked that number too. Do you think she'll learn? I asked. I don't know, Lupita. But that's not my responsibility anymore. I raised her, I loved her, I gave her every opportunity. What she does with her life now, that's on her. 3 weeks later, a food magazine reporter called. Mrs. Martinez, we want to do a story on your restaurant. We've heard you're back, that you reclaimed your business. People need to hear this story. Rosa hesitated. It's a family matter. With respect, Mrs. Martinez, it's a story about resilience, about not giving up, about fighting for what's yours. That's bigger than family. That's inspiration. Rosa agreed to the interview, and mijas, that interview changed everything. The reporter, her name was Jennifer Park, sat with Rosa for 3 hours. She asked about everything. The 32 years of building, the betrayal, the fight to reclaim what was stolen. Why did you want it back? Jennifer asked. You could have started fresh. Rosa thought about that. Because it wasn't just a business. It was my history, my grandmother's legacy, my mother's love. Those things have roots, mija. You can't just plant new ones somewhere else. And your daughter, will you reconcile? I hope so, someday. But not until she understands what she took from me and what she threw away when she chose money over family. Jennifer wrote it all down. The article came out 2 weeks later, front page of the food section. Rosa's Kitchen, a story of recipes, resilience, and reclaiming what's yours. Jennifer had done her research, mijas. She interviewed customers, employees, vendors. She told the whole story, including what Valeria did. She didn't villainize Valeria, but she didn't protect her either. She just stated facts, and she celebrated Rosa. Rosa Martinez is proof, Jennifer wrote, that authenticity always outlasts cleverness. Where food tastes the way it does because it's made by hands that learned from other hands, reaching back through generations. That's not something you can learn in business school. That's something you inherit. And Rosa Martinez is the rightful heir. Mijas, I read that article 5 times and cried every time. The article brought attention Rosa never expected. Food bloggers came, Instagram influencers, even Food Network called, asking if Rosa wanted to be on TV. She declined the TV show. I'm not trying to be famous, Lupita, she told me. I just want to cook and teach people about my grandmother's recipes. So instead, she started teaching monthly cooking classes. These aren't secret recipes, she told her first class. They're meant to be shared. That's what food is for, bringing people together, creating love, building family. A young woman in the back raised her hand. Mrs. Martinez, my mother and I haven't spoken in 2 years over something stupid. Your story made me want to call her. Could I use your recipes to cook her dinner? As an apology? Rosa had tears in her eyes. Mija, that's exactly what these recipes are for. To heal, to connect, to love. 4 months after reclaiming the restaurant, David called Rosa. Valeria's lawyers contacted me. She wants mediation. She says she wants to apologize. Rosa was quiet for a long moment. What does she really want, David? She wants to discuss working together again. Those were the actual words. Rosa laughed. Actually laughed out loud, mijas. Tell her lawyers that if Valeria wants to apologize, she can come to the restaurant. As a customer, she can pay for her meal like everyone else. And if she wants to work here, she can apply like everyone else. I'm hiring a dishwasher. She's qualified for that position. I was sitting right there when Rosa said this, and mijas, I almost fell off my chair. David was silent for a moment. Then, Rosa, you just became my favorite client ever. Send the message, David. He did. Valeria never came. Not to apologize, not to eat, not to work. She just disappeared from Rosa's life. And you know what? Rosa was okay with that. Now, mijas, let me tell you what happened next. Because this is the part that makes me believe in second chances. Not for Valeria, but for Rosa. 6 months after the article was published, Rosa did something beautiful. She bought a small commercial kitchen space and started Rosa's Cocina Comunitaria, Rosa's community kitchen. 3 days a week, she taught cooking classes, real classes, mijas, teaching people her grandmother's recipes, her mother's techniques, the wisdom of generations. 2 days a week, she cooked meals for homeless shelters and women's shelters. Hundreds of meals, all free. And on weekends, community dinners. Pay what you can, Rosa would say. $20? Great. $2? Great. Nothing? También está bien. Everyone eats. The restaurant continued to thrive. Lines every day. 5-star reviews. People traveling from other cities just to eat Rosa's food. Between the restaurant and the community kitchen, Rosa was busier than she'd ever been. But she wasn't tired anymore. She was fulfilled, mijas. There's a difference. Lupita, she told me one Sunday after a community dinner. I spent 32 years thinking I was building something for Valeria. Turns out I was building something for myself, for my community, for anyone who needs to know that love is stronger than betrayal. I hugged her so tight. One Saturday evening during community dinner, an older woman approached Rosa. Rosa Martinez? Sí, that's me. My name is Carmen Fuentes. I read about you in the magazine. I wanted to shake your hand. They shook hands, and Carmen's eyes filled with tears. I had 3 daughters, Carmen said. Smart girls, college educated. They convinced me to sign over my house, said it was for estate planning. Then they put me in a nursing home and sold it. Rosa's face went soft with understanding. Ay, señora, I'm so sorry. Don't be. That was 8 years ago. I got out, got a lawyer, fought back. Didn't get the house back, but I got my dignity back. And I got to watch my daughters learn that money doesn't buy happiness. Carmen squeezed Rosa's hand. What you did, fighting back, reclaiming your life, being public about it, it gives people like me hope. So many of us stay silent out of shame. But you showed us that the shame belongs to them, not us. Thank you for your bravery. She left before Rosa could respond. But her words stayed with Rosa, stayed with both of us, mijas. 1 year after reclaiming her business, Rosa did something she'd never done in her entire adult life. She took a vacation. 2 weeks in Guadalajara, visiting her grandmother's hometown, walking the same streets her abuela walked, visiting the kitchen where her grandmother first learned to cook from her own mother. Rosa met distant cousins she'd never known, learned stories about her family that had been lost to time, cooked with elderly women who still remembered her grandmother from 70 years ago. She was fierce, your grandmother, one old woman told Rosa. She didn't take disrespect from anyone, but she also fed anyone who was hungry, loved anyone who needed love. She understood that strength and kindness aren't opposites, they're partners. Rosa came back from that trip different, mijas, lighter, more at peace. I spent so many years thinking I failed Valeria somehow, she told me. That I didn't teach her the right values, didn't love her enough, didn't give her enough. And now I understand. I gave her everything I could. What she chose to do with those gifts, that was never my responsibility. My only responsibility was to give them, which I did, with love. Last month, this was just a few weeks ago, mijas, Rosa called me with news. Lupita, I got an email. From who? Valeria. My heart stopped. What did it say? Rosa was quiet for a moment. She said she's been in therapy for 6 months, working on herself. She said she understands now that what she did was wrong, that it wasn't just bad business, it was cruel. She said she doesn't expect forgiveness, but she wanted me to know she's sorry, really sorry. Do you believe her? I don't know yet. But she also said something else. She said she's working as a manager at a clothing store now, making $14 an hour, living in a studio apartment. And she said she's grateful, that losing everything was the only way she could find herself. I didn't know what to say, mijas. Are you going to respond? I finally asked. I don't know. Maybe. Someday. But not yet. She needs to prove it with time, not just words. And I need to be sure I'm ready. That's wise, comadre. I learned from the best, Rosa said. My grandmother always said, forgiveness is free, but trust is earned. Valeria can have my forgiveness, but my trust, that's going to take years. So, mijas, That's Rosa's story. And before I let you go, let me tell you what I learned from watching my comadre go through this. First, trust your instincts. When something feels wrong, it probably is. Rosa knew something was off when Valeria asked her to sign those papers. But she ignored her gut because she wanted to trust her daughter. Listen to that voice inside you, Mias. It's trying to protect you. Second, family doesn't mean doormat. We're taught to sacrifice for our children, to give them everything, and we should. But there's a line between sacrifice and enabling abuse, between love and letting someone destroy you. Rosa loved Valeria enough to fight back. That's real love. Third, your legacy is yours. The recipes, the wisdom, the work, those things belong to you. Don't let anyone make you feel like your contributions don't matter just because they have a degree or speak fancy business words. Rosa built something beautiful with her hands and her heart. That's worth more than any MBA. Fourth, justice takes time, but it comes. Rosa didn't get her business back overnight. It took patience, strategy, smart lawyers, and a community that loved her. But she got it back, because truth and hard work and authenticity, those things win in the end. And finally, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. Rosa might forgive Valeria someday, but she'll never forget what happened, and that's okay. Forgiveness isn't about pretending nothing happened. It's about not letting what happened poison your future. If you're listening to this and you're going through something similar, whether it's a child who betrayed you, a family member who stole from you, someone who took advantage of your trust, I want you to hear this. You are not stupid for trusting. You are not weak for loving. You are not wrong for giving. The person who betrayed that trust, that's on them, not you. And you can come back from this. Maybe not today, maybe not next month, but you can rebuild. Rosa did. Carmen did. Thousands of women do it every day. Find your David Reyes. Find your Tomas. Find your community. Find your strength. And remember, the recipes, whatever your recipes are, your gifts, your talents, your wisdom, those belong to you. Always. Don't let anyone steal your legacy. This is your Tía Lupita, reminding you that family is everything, but respect is not negotiable. I love you, mijas y mijos. Now go hug someone who deserves it. And if you need to